Good evening. How y'all doing? We are live. It is Monday, and I'm feeling a little empty this evening. A little bit empty this evening. Like some of me is missing. So I thought it only appropriate to film and video in this manner. Actually, I was sweating to death earlier doing a mod and changed my shirt before the live stream. And here's a tip for you: if you're going to do green screen live stream, don't wear a green shirt, because if you do, you shall be somewhat lacking, I gotta say, or somewhat missing, as I am right now. So it's a little bit weird. I don't know, very strange, but that's the way it is. The show must go on. So you get a head and a hand and a couple arms and a chair, I guess. CJ Colvin, ma'am, what's up, buddy? Rob, what's up, brother? Well, I'm feeling a little lacking this evening, like something's missing. I'm not sure exactly what, but something is a little strange tonight. I don't know. I don't know. It's very weird. Very weird indeed. Anyway, I don't know. Chad Knotts, what's up, Rob? How you doing, Chad? Welcome to the stream. Got to have a little bit of clear nectar. This is water this evening. I spent the entire day today working on a mod for that truck right there. My entire day from about, I don't know, it was probably 8:30, 9 o'clock. It was around 9 or so when I started this morning, and I finished at about 4:30, and I'm not done yet. I'm not used to doing mods that take multiple days. Typically I do a mod and it's done the same day, but not today. Not today. And I had a problem. CJ says this may be a stupid question, but have you seen a reality show, Lizard Lick Towing? I have, actually, if I'm thinking of the same one. I think it's where some guys go and they repo stuff, don't they? I can't remember, but I think I've seen that. I think. I don't know. Michael, I love that show. There you go. I've seen it a few times, not lately though, in the past. Gear Runner says, "What up, everyone?" Gear, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Bees Landscaping. Oh yeah. What's up, Bees? CJ says, "What's up, Gear?" So yeah, I started a mod this morning. I started it at like I said, like about 9 o'clock, man. And it's an epic mod. It really is. This may be the most epic mod I've ever done. It certainly is from a time standpoint. I have never spent, and it's going to run into 2 days because, and it never fails, right? I got everything wired up. Everything looks good. Got everything back together inside the cab. And then I got to power. I was getting ready to connect power, right? So I whip out my antifuse. I had an antifuse. Now, I don't know if you guys know what an antifuse is, but it's exactly that. It's a wire, if you will, connected to a socket, a blade fuse, I guess, that replaces a fuse in your fuse box. So you take a fuse out, let's say 10 amp, because that's what I'm working with. So I take out a 10 amp fuse and I stick this antifuse in its place. And on the top of it, it has 2 slots. One for the fuse that you've replaced. You put that fuse in the top. And another slot for a fuse for the item that you're adding. And then at the end of this little contraption, this little harness, is a wire, an end, with a crimper already on it. And you crimp a wire to that to power whatever it is that you're doing. And that's what I was on at the end. Let's see. CJ says, "What up, Gear?" Gear says, "Hi, CJ." Jim Cott says, "Hey, Rob." Jim, how you doing, buddy? Welcome. Michael, I wish I could add power seats. You probably could if you wanted to spend enough coin to do it, CJ Colvin, let's hope for one mod that'll make us crave, and that would be the supercharger. It's not the supercharger. I wouldn't do that myself, probably. That's probably a bit above my comfort zone. But it is an epic mod nonetheless. I've talked about trucks needing this, I don't know, probably ever since I had a truck. And now I'm going to have it if I ever get it done. I had three little hiccupy things in doing this, actually. Three little things. Brandon says, hello, Brandon. How you doing, buddy? Dan Soderholm says, howdy. What's up, Dan? How you doing, man? Michael C. says, tell us. It is the front-facing cam, man. It's the front-facing cam, or camera. I have it all in. The camera's in. I need to tighten it down, but it's in the grill. Three problems. One, the wiring that came with it was different than what I have seen. So, and it wasn't clear enough, at least for me. So I had to take a little bit of a guess on one of the wires. I hope I'm right. I hope I don't fire this thing up and it goes poof, because that would suck. I have had the truck on because I pulled it back in the garage, even though it's not done, and everything worked fine. The rear camera worked fine, and I did mess with I added a wiring harness for that, so everything is good there so far, but we don't have power yet. Secondly, when I drilled the hole in the grill, I can't go that far, over there on the front, that way, the camera doesn't fit flush right up against the front because there's these little nubs in the TRD Pro grill. So it kind of sits out a little bit underneath the Toyota, if you will, on that ledge. When I drilled the hole, the first time I drilled the hole, it was too small. Second time I enlarged it, it was just big enough. And there's some wires in this harness that you can cut if you don't want to have lines in the camera. Well, when I was pulling it back through, those didn't fit through very well, so I kind of had to force it a little bit. I don't think I damaged anything, but I got on it pretty well. So I had to enlarge the hole. So now the hole is plenty big enough. The camera sits back as far as it can, but it still overhangs the lip by maybe 1/8 of an inch, something like that. It's just the way it's going to be. And then the antifuse. It's the wrong frickin' style of fuse. I ordered it. It's on me. It's the wrong one. I'm at the point where I'm ready to power it up, man. All I got to do is wire the antifuse to the camera power, ground it, plug it into the fuse box, and I'm ready to roll, man. I am ready to roll. But it's the wrong fuse. It's the wrong antifuse. I guess it's a blade style versus whatever the heck the Tacoma has. I don't know. So tomorrow morning, because I had to get on here to do the live stream. I shouldn't say I had to. I wanted to get on here to do the live stream. So I couldn't run out to an auto parts store. And I don't even know if auto parts stores carry antifuses. Do any of you guys know? Do any of you know, do they carry antifuses? Is that a standard thing, or do you have to buy them off the web? Right before the stream, I called O'Reilly's, right? I get a guy, seemed like a friendly guy. He's going to check, puts me on hold. I'm on hold for 5 minutes. Whatever, no big deal. I got a little bit of time, right? I'm on hold for 5 minutes. Finally, he comes back, calls me Robbie. I don't know why he calls me Robbie. I guess in that short period of time, we became buddies like this. Calls me Robbie, and then disconnects the phone. I'm like, are you kidding me? Disconnects the phone. All I wanted was an answer. Do you carry antifuses? Because I wanted to go there tomorrow morning and pick one up. Now I don't know, so I'll have to call afterwards. I think those places are open rather late. I don't know. Let's see. Let me catch up. I'm gonna whiz through some of the comments here. As soon as I figure out where the heck I was at. Brandon says hello. Dan says howdy. Michael says tell us. I just did. That's the scoop so far. There's a little more to talk about. CJ Colvin, what's your favorite episode of Lizard Licked Towing? I couldn't even tell you. I hadn't watched it enough to even tell you, although I think I saw them repo a Ferrari about 1.5 years ago. Something like that. Thunder Whisper says, what's up? I'm in the kitchen cooking, but I'll listen. That's cool, T-Dub. Dan Soderholm says, sup T-Dub. Rebel Roger says, howdy. How on earth can a mod take a whole day? You know, between filming and doing something that's a little more involved and a little more tedious than I'm used to doing, That's how. And I'm not done yet, man. Wait a minute. G Ghost Rider. Welcome. How you doing? Hello. Are the Forerunner and Tacoma built on the same frame? I think so, but we'll let somebody else chime in that knows for sure. I think so. Thunder Whisper says hello, Dan. Dan Sutter Home says Justin. Rubber Rouse says, hey, T-Dub, what are you making, buddy? Rubber Rouse says, hi, Dan, how are you? String Bean, he's a look. And Lip Hartsfield, he says, hey, everyone. What's up, Rob? How you doing, Lip? I had a very disappointing day. I mean, I got a lot done, don't get me wrong. But in the end, it was rather disappointing. You know, to get to the end of a project, and the last thing you need is power, and you bought the wrong stupid part, that really makes me mad. Rebel Rod says you drilled a hole in the bumper. No, I drilled a hole in the grill. It's actually under the grill. You can't even see it, but not the bumper, no. Although I thought about it. Thunder Whisper says, I make a really mean marinade for chicken breasts. You're making me hungry. I haven't had dinner yet, man. I need food. I spent all day doing this, and when I'm working on something, I don't eat. I just work. Beauregard Rippy says, drill, baby, drill. I did. I drilled. I drilled 3 or 4 times. Gear Runner says, Justin, T-Dub, Lip, String, Dan. Mr. Moons, Rob, I was on the fence regarding door handles on my Tundra. Went with flat black versus color keyed. What do you think? You're going to have to refresh my memory. What color's the truck? Sorry. Because I wish I'd have done that with the cement that I had when on the Crew Max. I went with color matched, and I think black would have looked much better. Depends on what truck you have, and almost anyone would look better in black, I think. Dan Soderholm, breathing. Justin, just breathing. How are you? I need to breathe. CJ Colvin says, the wheels look bad arse on the Taco. Aren't those cool? Those are fuel Anzas, 20-inch wheels, man. I love them. There's only one problem with them. Can you guess what it is? Probably not. Sean DeLong says, hi, Rob and everyone. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Rubber Roger says, about the same, Dan. Gear Runner says, hey, Sean. Rubber Roger says, gear. Z-Diver. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Front camera would be great for four-wheeling. It would indeed, man. And I know people use it for that. For me, it's going to be for parking. Specifically, pulling in on the lift in the garage. You know, I always have to get in and out of the truck 15 times to figure out where I am. Now, I know I could hang a ball, I could put up a rod, I could do something, but I don't want to do that. I want to just know. So this camera is going to help me greatly with that if I ever get it done. Dan says, Gear Rubber says, Sean, Mr. Moon says, and then we jumped. We jumped far. Mr. Moon says, what up, Gear Runner? His CJ says, what color shirt are you wearing? I am wearing a green shirt. A green shirt. Would you like to see? Let me show you. I figured out how to do this recently, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what RobMotive 1 looks like without the green screen. Let's see if I can do this. There you go. That's me. Hey, I look kind of, looks like I'm wearing lipstick. That's what the screen looks like right now with me sitting here. I think that's the best look I can give you without anything on. Of course, you're seeing the feedback because I'm wearing a green shirt, but that's where I'm sitting. That's how it looks. Isn't that neat? I think that's cool. And then we're back to the green screen. I do need to make a little change here. Let's see. Oops, that didn't work. I still try to figure out what I'm doing on this thing, you know. But that's what it looks like. I think it's pretty neat myself. I don't know. Let's see. There's a way you can do something with this thing. I think it's something like that. Yeah, that's not it. I'm trying to make it look better for you guys. I don't know. That's not it. There, that's it right there, I think. Yeah, that's not really it either. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and screw with this thing. But that's what it looks like without the green screen on. Let me move myself back down. Let's see, what color shirt am I wearing? You kind of saw it's green. I'm wearing a green shirt, and green screen they don't go very well together apparently. They don't play well. Rob Rouse has just noticed your outfit, Rob. Hilarious. Yeah, I'm wearing bricks tonight. I'm wearing bricks. Gear Runner says, not much, Muno, or Mr. Moons. How are you? Dan Soderholm says, I've gotten an antifuse from the parts store. You have. What parts store did you go to? Do you recall? Was it Advanced Auto Parts, AutoZone, O'Reilly's? What was it? Jordan says, fish boats. They do. Mark W. Afternoon, Rob. Mark, how you doing, buddy? CJ, do you like to weight train, Rob? Well, you know, when you got guns like I used to have. No, I don't. I used to lift weights a lot back in the day, and I hated it then, and I hate it now. Sean DeLong says, he's now Robbie from here on. Yeah, you know, I used to be called Robbie when I was a little kid, so I guess that'll make me feel younger. Rebel Rouser says, sounds like you had a fun day. It sucked. It sucked. It always sucks when it doesn't go the way you want it to go, man. CJ Colvin says, I'll be back. We'll be waiting. Rebel Rouser says, how are you running the wires? I ran them through a boot in the firewall right beside the master cylinder, the brake master cylinder. Poked a hole through it, man, and I came up with a little, quite ingenious contraption to do that, I think. Of course, I came up with it, so you know. Z-Diver says, Robbie. It was spelled with an I-E back in the day. Now that you are so close to the border, it should be Roberto. It could be. I'll answer about anything that sounds like my name, you know. Rubber Rouge says, are you hooking the wires to the shifter? No, they're going to be hooked to the electronic fuel injection system. And if you want, see the way this works, if you go into reverse, the reverse camera will still come on, just like it always did. But now, with the front-facing camera, you have a switch. You can hit front camera and it'll be on all the time. You can hit rear camera and it'll be on all the time, or you can just leave it off. So it's pretty cool. Let's see. Sean says, are we talking about front camera installation? I'm late. Yes, I spent the whole day on it and I am not done. It's rather embarrassing, actually. Gear Runner says, that really grinds my gears. I'm watching Family Guy. There you go. Family Guy. I haven't seen that show in quite a while, actually. Dan says, Ghost Rider, yes, they are. Rebel Roger says, LOL. Andy Sean says, good one, Gear. Mr. Moon says, silver. Yes. Silver with black handles. Yeah, I do think that would look better. I think that would look better than color matched. Because if you're going color matched everywhere else, I would do color matched, or not color matched. I would do black door handles. You've got black wheels, of course, or tires, of course. I probably would still go color matched mirror caps if you don't have those already, and then the bumper caps and all that, I would definitely go color matched. Thunder Whisper says, I'm just craving a meatloaf, Rob. Ever since I mentioned yesterday, yeah, I'd love to have meatloaf. I love meatloaf. My mom makes an awesome meatloaf. Lip Hartsfield says, Gear Runner, that's exactly what I say too. Dan Soderholm, Gear, that's a funny one. Gear's thumb up. And Ed Herman. Ed, how you doing, man? Ed says, did you consider mounting it in front of the inside mirror? Not really. It's truly a backup camera. So what you see in the backup camera is the same thing that I'm going to see in the front camera, including the lines. Now, I can get rid of the lines by snipping a couple of wires, and I haven't decided whether I'll do that yet or not. But I think given that, it's probably too far back. Now, if I'd have gone with a different kind of camera, maybe that's not a bad idea. But no, I really never did. Rebel Roger says, I can tell you didn't eat. You lost an awful lot of weight. I know, I'm just fading away, man. Pretty soon I'll be gone. Rebel Roger says, I can see through you. I know. Pedro Rodriguez. My neighbor just got a brand new Tundra TRD off-road. Factory lifted, fully loaded. This has to be 45,000 plus, absolutely. He just got back from off-roading and has a nice dent in the rear panel and pinstripes. Ew, so he added a dent and pinstripes? I'd get rid of the pinstripes and fix the dent. I'm just saying. I don't know if that's what you meant. Pedro says pinstriping all over. Oh, yes. I mean, come on, man. You go out and buy that truck after taxes and everything else, it's probably pushing 50 grand. And you take it out and do that. No, I mean, if you're a multi-gazillionaire, then who cares? You know, the Saudi sheiks, they run Ferraris and Lamborghinis in the desert. So, I mean, in the sand. So who cares? But if you're not, that's a lot of money to spend and then take a truck out and do that to it, you know? I get mad if mine has a, stone chip, let alone something from that. But hey, to each their own, man. Pedro says, thing still has dealer plates on it. Wow, he must be an avid off-roader. I don't know. Gear Runner says, wow, 4K isn't a good look for you. Go back to 1080. Yeah, am I even on 4K? I don't even know what I'm running. Am I running 4K? I don't think I am. Thunder Whisper says, this image doesn't look right, Rob. It's very unusual. Rubber Rouse says, you should wear green shirts. You should wear green shorts for gear. I don't want to disappoint him. I don't. Gear Runner says, don't listen to Justin. And then he winked at me. I understand. Lip Hartsfield says, it's all right, Rob. You'll finish the project right up tomorrow. Oh, definitely. Tomorrow morning I'll be hot and heavy, and I'm not far from being done. I need an antifuse, and once I have that, I probably have an hour in the rest of it between tying it up the way I want it and all that good stuff, primping around it a little bit. Pedro says, I meant taco, not tundra. Oh! I got you. All right. Well, that's still a drag, man. I mean, 45 grand, that's a lot. Dan Soderholm says, advance, I believe. It has been a while. All right, well, I will call them after I get done with the stream, and I will find out, because I hope so. I know right where an advanced is, I think. If not, I'll find it. Mr. Moon says, LOL, it's not moons, it's muns. Oh, like mun with a Z. Muns, moons, muns, muns. Well, I apologize. I will try to remember that. If I do not, please let me know. Mr. Moons. Not moons. Muns. I'll try to get it. Muns. Rebel Rider says, okay, Mr. Muns. He's trying to make me say it. Ed Herman says, inside would not help you park. No, and that's really what I'm looking for, is to be able to park on the lift that I have and up against, I don't know, buildings, other cars, stuff. That's what I'm really looking for. So, Rebel Rouse says, have you ever removed pinstripes? I've never removed pinstripes, but I can't imagine it's any more difficult and probably a lot easier than the badging and all that kind of stuff that I have removed. So why? You have some pinstripes you're looking to take off or what? Rebel Rouse says, hey, Ed. Gear Runner says, I have Justin. I have Justin. Did you kidnap Justin? Rebel Rouser says, that's no fun, Gear. That's no fun. I don't know what's going on over there. Pedro says, it just pained me. I'm so anal. It would drive me insane if that was my rig. Oh, absolutely. That's why it's funny when I get on here and people start, well, not on the live stream, but on videos, and people start talking about four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive. And I know how it is. I know that most people that have four-wheel drive don't ever take their trucks off-road. They just don't. One, they're way too much money. And two, they're like you said. They don't want the scratches. And if you take your truck off-road, I mean, if you go into any kind of brush, rubbing up against tree limbs or whatever, you're going to have scratches. If you scrape a rock the wrong way or you take a big enough dip, you're going to ruin your wheels. You're going to scratch up your tires. You're going to just have crap all over the truck. And I just can't see doing that. Like you said, on a rig that costs that kind of money, man, it's just nuts, I think. But hey, whatever. Rebel Rouser says 240p. Is that what I'm on? I don't even determine it, I don't think. I think it's YouTube that determines it. Gear Runner says, nope, it wasn't Justin. They never come off in one piece. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine you'd pull a whole pinstripe off in one piece unless you heat the heck out of it and are very careful while you're doing it, but I just can't see it. Rebel Rouser says, dag nabbit, darn it. Gear Runner says, darn it. Rebel Rouser says, Burger King's new bacon cheese tots are so tasty. you know, we can't talk about food because I got to be honest. When I started this project this morning, I had a dinner. No, I didn't. I had a Rice Krispie square, about not the big ones either. The ones about yay big. You know, that's what I had for breakfast. And then I drank about a bottle and a half of Mountain Dew to get me through the day. I did come in at about 2 o'clock, and I had a dinner roll because I love bread. So I had a dinner roll. Um, at about 5:30, I had another dinner roll and a thing of water, which is what I'm working on right now. And that's all I've had today because I was busy working on that front-facing camera, man. Now, what I really want, and I don't think the same place makes these, but I want a front-facing camera on the Tundra. I think that would be just too cool. So after I get this done, assuming I ever do, we'll see, you know. Tony Warren. Hey, Tony, how you doing? Tony says, when I get a scratch in my car, I trade it in a new car. Hi, Rob. I can relate to that. Rebel Rouser says, have you ever tinted mirrors? Tinted mirrors? No. Why would you tint a mirror? I'm curious. I'm not sure. But no, I never have. No. Gear Runner's laughing out loud at Tony. Tony says, on that is. Yes. Tony, he's laughing. Gear Runner says, I'm going to film my buddy tinting my Mustang, Justin. I would prefer to see him actually putting the tint on the car, so not tinting your buddy. That's, you know, that's just me. I don't know. John Watt says, just tuned in, I guess. What new mods are you into? Right now, I am hot and heavy into a front-facing camera for the Tacoma, right there. Well, that's not where it's going to go. But I'm hot and heavy into that. I spent from 9 o'clock this morning until, it was probably 4:30, something like that, working on this front-facing camera. Now, granted, some of the time that is involved is because of filming and stuff like that for a video. So it takes me more time because I have to go slower when I'm doing that kind of thing. But it still would have taken me hours. I mean, just the way it is. And then when I got done, the antifuse that I had to run power to the thing was the wrong kind. So I'm stuck. I had to roll everything up, put the truck back in the garage because I was, you know, doing the live stream tonight. So I didn't want to continue. Otherwise, I would have continued with it until it, well, I would have gone out and tried to find a fuse or an antifuse first, but I would have finished it if I could have. That's what I'm working on right now. And funny enough, while I was working on that, 2 more mods arrived at the house today. 1 for each truck. I'm not going to tell you what they are. Stay tuned. They're not. They're nothing major. Not like this one. But they're pretty cool, I think. So we got 2 more coming. It just happens while I was actually working on this one. Thunder Whisper says, man, I love me a double whopper. I do. Pedro, Tony, when my truck needs to get washed, I just trade it in. Ain't got time for that, man. I'm not that bad. I don't do that. Rebel Rouse says, can't wait to see that gear. Yeah, those guys are artists, some of them. They're really good. I watched a guy in Columbus do one of my cars once, and he was exceptionally good. He did everything freehand, by hand, no templates, and man, did he do a good job. Thunder Whisper says, no pressure on your buddy gear. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You might want to hide that cam somewhere. Rebel Rouser says, that's my kind of diet, Rob. Hey, I don't spend time eating when I'm working on something. You know, to me, it just delays the project, and I have no time for it, man. Mr. Munns, I think I got it right. I was just watching the video Gear Runner are up on his cost, or has up on his cost the mods to his Tundra, and I immediately put my house up for sale. Yeah, I watched that too. I'm not going to spoil it, but it was interesting. Check it out, Gear Runner. I'm going to have to do that kind of thing as well, see what I've got in the Tacoma there and what I've got in the Tundra so far. I just did a list recently for tax purposes. So I have an idea. Pretty good idea. Tony Warren says, LOL Pedro, that's extreme. Rubber Rogers says, LOL, I know, right, T-Dub? Gear Runner says, LOL, T-Dub. T-Dub says, where's Krista? Krista is in the house. I'm in RobMotive 1, Studio 1. She's in the house. I'm not sure if she's on or not. If she is, she hasn't said anything. I don't know. John's Tundra Life says, just joined the live stream, and I have to tell you, your driveway has grown this hideous head that won't stop talking. Thanks, John. I appreciate that, particularly the hideous part. Welcome to the stream. It's okay to have you here. I mean, you know. You don't like my brick-colored shirt that I'm wearing today? Rebel Rouser says tinted mirrors look better and sunshine and headlights don't reflect in your eyes as much. I thought you were probably going that way. I've never seen tinted mirrors that I'm aware of. I assume it's just a matter of putting film on them, but I really don't know. Thunder Whisper, tinted mirrors, never seen that. Any effect during daylight use on them? They got to be tinted. Darker, I would think. Rebel Rouser says, surprisingly not, T-Dub. There you go. I would think it would help with sun glaring off of them, though. You know, sometimes you get hit in the face with sun glaring off your mirrors. That's kind of a drag. Dan Soderholm says, what amp do you need? 10 amp. I need 10 amp. Sean DeLong says, can't believe that Mustang didn't have tent already. Yeah, what's the deal, man? Are you going to tow it to the tent shop or is he coming to you? Because you can't put miles on that car, man. You got to quit driving that thing. Scott S. Scott, what's up, buddy? How you doing? I need another drink. You know, between swearing at the truck all day and talking for an hour or whatever it's been, half an hour on this live stream, the voice is starting to go. Scott says, had to say hey to everyone, cooking up supper on the grill. That sounds awesome, man. What are you having? Rubber Route says, hi, Scott. Sounds awesome. Save one for moi. Thunder Whisper, Gear. I have you beat on mod costs. Hate to admit I've spent this much, but the suspension lifts are a small fortune. Yeah, they are. Wow. John Watt says, Rob, do you know your shirt matches your driveway? I know. Isn't that awesome? It just worked out that way. I mean, I don't know how it happened, man. John's Thunder Life says, haha, love you, man. Oh, I love you too, John. In a brotherly kind of way, you know. Scott says, some pork chops, Justin. Hopefully I don't screw them up. Pork chops sound awesome. Anything right now. I could eat this bottle. Sounds awesome. Thunder Whisper says, well, heck, I'm going to talk to the guy who tinted my windows about this mirror idea. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool, man. I'm surprised all the cars I've had tinted, no one's ever mentioned doing something like that. They always want to sell you that strip across the top. You know, the sun visor type strip, which me personally, I don't dig it. Or a whole front windshield, which I don't really care for either. So, let's see. Rebel Rider says, ew, okay, not a pork chop fan. They're hard to grill, right? They are. They dry out pretty darn easily, and there's a fine line between a pork chop that's juicy and done, a pork chop that's dry, and a pork chop that's not done, I think, anyway. You don't want to eat pink pork, I don't think. Terrence Tatum says, greetings all. Sorry I'm late. What did I miss? Rob, can you recap everything you said so far? Yeah, just stay on till the end of the stream. I'll get to that. Rebel Rouser says, what up, Terrence? Rafe Severance says, hello. Rafe, how you doing, buddy? What's new and exciting? Rebel Rouser says, howdy, Rafe. Dan Soderholm says, ask Advance if they have part number, blah, 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 in stock, 10 amp inline kit. Awesome. Now, is that the kind that has the connection on one end, and then on the other end, there's a blade, you know, things that stick down into your fuse box, and then 2 slots on top where you put the new fuses? Or the 2 10 amp fuses. And thanks for doing that, Dan. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Matter of fact, before I lose it, I'm gonna see if I can copy it. I can. Hold on. I'm gonna copy that part number there. It is now copied in the system, so when I'm done here, I can paste it somewhere and remember what it was. Sean says, is Krista secretly hiding in the driveway too? You see that spot right there? That's actually Krista, right there. The catering company. Hey, catering company. Catering company says, hey, Gear, we can load the Mustang in the back of the unicorn truck and take it to the tent shop. That's what you're going to have to do, man. I mean, you cannot drive that car because it needs to be low on miles so that when you put it in Barrett's in about 30 years, you get the most out of it. I'm just saying. I'm not even sure if you should tint the windows. You know, I don't think you probably should even wash it. Russ, 150. Russ, if you're on here, thanks for the sub. Thunder Whisper says, yeah, me too, Sean. Surprised that Mustang wasn't tinted already. Well, they're keeping it, weren't they, as like an investment car, or were they not doing that? Probably not. Not since it's got miles. Rebel Rouser says, what's your favorite windshield wiper, Rob? Assuming you've ever replaced the factory ones. I have, it's embarrassing. Uh, in my adult life, and I'll say that started once I stopped, buying cheapo cars, I have never replaced a windshield wiper. However, I have replaced windshield wipers on my daughter's cars because for some reason, she seems to go through windshield wipers even on newer cars. I don't know why that is, but she seems to. And I don't really have a favorite, just one that frickin' works. And I've had many that don't, Rafe Severin says, I do the tent strip on the front window because it helps with the sun. Yeah, a lot of people do. Don't get me wrong. It's just not my thing. I don't really care for the look. I don't know why. I don't know why. But it certainly has a valid purpose. That's for sure. Let's see. I jumped like crazy. Rubber Rouse says, good idea, catering company. I think so. You got to tow that car. Or trailer it. I'd buy a trailer just so you can haul it there. Terrence Tatum says, hello, Rebel. How's it going, buddy? Rebel Rouse says, it's going great, man. Tundra Whisper says, Rebel, I just got new Tundra wipers, and I have to say, they do a really fine job. Well, that's good to hear. What brand did you get? Dan Soderholm says, I'll DM it to you on Instagram. That'd be cool, man. Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate that. Rebel Rouse says, better than OEM T-Dub. What brand? Krista says, good evening. Good evening, Krista. Scott says, yes, somewhat hard, Justin. Can't overdo them. Yeah, they'll be like dried out hockey pucks or leather gloves if you do that. I know. How do I know? I've done it. Thunder Whisper says, if I was Gear, if I were Gear, wait a minute. He says, if I were Gear, I'd put that thing in a garage, not a carport. I'm not making fun of Gear. I'm just trying to be Gear. Yeah, I mean, you've got to like hermetically seal that car. I mean, if rats get into it and chew anything, if it gets, bleached from the sun, I mean, those pretty blue seats need to stay pretty blue, not pretty baby blue. You know what I'm saying? Rebel Rouser says, Krista. Thunder Whisper says, Krista. Gear Runner says, I do not have a garage. Well, you got to build one, man. You got to build yourself a garage. Now, you got a collector car. You got to put it in the garage. Ken Wilson says, what's up? Ken, how you doing, buddy? How are you this evening? Gear Runner says, I'm back. Boy, we've been talking about you like you wouldn't believe, man. John's Tundra Life says, the stock wipers aren't bad at all. I'm using Bosch Icon right now and have been very pleased as well. I do know Bosch. I think we put a set of those on Josie's car once. One of the many we put on. Rebel Rouser says, hey, Ken. John Watt says, why do some call Tacoma a car? Because some guys measure their masculinity by the truck that they drive. And some guys feel that if you don't drive a full-size truck, you should lash out on those who don't. And for some reason, it's kind of like the bully factor, where the guy who's so insecure in school, wants to exert his will on the weaker, or what he perceives to be the weaker, by making fun of things that he doesn't agree with, when indeed he's just trying to compensate for his own shortcomings. For you see, I do not equate my manhood with the size truck I drive. That's just my theory. I could be wrong. I was almost a psych major, so I'm. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I really don't know. Gear Runner says, hi, Krista and Scott. Rebel Rouser says, awesome, John. I was going to try the Icon. Thunder Whisper says, it was the Toyota brand Wiper Rebel. Scott S. says, hey, Andy. Krista says, Justin, T-Dub, Andy, in caps. She's screaming at you. Gear Runner says, sounds good, Linda. Sounds good. Linda must be from the catering company, which is the catering. Yes, the catering company is Sean's wife's company, right? Or maybe Sean and his wife's company. Or maybe Sean's company. I can't keep it straight. Thunder Whisper says, not sure who they use for their wipers. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Rebel Rouser says, okay, T-Dub. 5 Gears says, sup, Rob? 5 Gears. How you doing, man? What's happening this evening? And welcome. Rafe Severn says, I do not like the look of it either, but my eyes are sensitive to the sun. I know exactly what you mean there. I had eye surgery years ago, and I'm assuming that is it. Yeah, I had a torn retina in this eye and had laser surgery, I don't know, 3, 4, a million times. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Terrence Tatum says, hello, Krista. Rubber Rouser says, hey, 5 Gears. Gear Runner says, hey, Justin. Rubber Rouser, he's a triple laughing, man. Not just once, not just twice, but 3 times. Krista Greenbean says, hi, Terrence. Boise City Mopar. Dan, the man himself. Hey, guys, sorry I'm late. Just got done with school in about an hour ago, but had other stuff to do. Well, I'm just glad you're here now, Dan. Welcome, and how are you? Scott S. says, I never change wiper blades either. Just wet sand them a little bit. It works. Really? I was not aware you could do that. That's cool. Rebel Rouser says, I never thought of that, Scott. Tundra Whisper says, Gear, no problem. Just wall that carport in. Yeah, put some cardboard on the sides of it. Gear Runner says, I can do that. See? Sean says, Rob would have had that Mustang gone already, Gear. I would have. I'd sell it. I'm my honest opinion, and nobody asked me for it, but hey, it's live. I would sell that car, make the profit, and put the money into the next channel car. That's what I would do, because realistically, keeping that car for a long enough period of time where it's going to appreciate to a point that it's worth a lot of money, I can't see it happening. Gear's a car guy like me, and I can't see it happening. So do what's the inevitable now and get yourself some money and go buy a car, a channel for the car, or a car for the channel. Gear Runner says, come on, we call it a car because it's 2-wheel drive. Hey, I already gave you my theory. I'm just saying, 2-wheel drive, doesn't matter. Boise City Mopar says, hey, Krista, hello. And then we just jumped. Hello, Gear Runner. Hey, Sean, and everybody else. Rebel Rider says, in other words, you're calling me feminine. LOL. Hey, it's all in the eye of the beholder. And there's nothing wrong with that, Justin. We accept you as you are. Krista Greenbean says, hi, Dan. And Dan. Just Joe, watched a video where you installed a red aluminum TRD oil cap on your Tundra. Where did you get it? Hey, Just Joe, welcome. How you doing? A subscriber sent that to me, actually. I believe he got it on eBay. And I know you can get them. They're out there, eBay, Amazon. I believe Sparks Parts sells them. And while I'm mentioning Sparks Parts, you'll see up there, way up there, if you go to Sparks Parts, use discount code RobMotive with a capital R and a capital M for 5% off. Check them out. I believe they sell them there, Just Joe. Gear Runner says you could drive an F450 two-wheel drive and we'd call it a car, LOL. Hey, you heard my reasoning. I'm just saying, Boise City Mopar says, hey, Justin. Rubber Roger says, hey, Dan. Gear Runner says, hi, Dan. Tundra Whisper says, I have to compensate, Rob, i.e. the Tundra. Hey, we all got to survive, Dan. If that gets it for you, and then, or Dan, T-Dub, I mean. If that gets it for you, I don't have a problem with it. Gear Runner says he definitely would have, Sean. I would sell that car. If I could make a profit on that car, I'd probably sell it. I'd probably list it for $5 to $10 grand more than I paid for it and see what happens, And turn it. Turn it, because I believe you're going to turn it eventually. Uh, just my opinion. Boise City Mopar says, a good runner story. I missed your live stream, but I was at work. However, when the first opportunity presents itself, I'm going to day shift so that I can watch your videos again. I'm not sure what all that meant. Five Gears says, if you could buy another Tacoma, what trim would you buy? I'd buy the Sport, just like I got. I love the truck. I mean, look at this truck. This truck is freaking awesome, and it has everything I need. So I might change the color because I love the two blues, the Voodoo Blue and the whatever the other one is. I would go with one of those probably because those are awesome. Assuming you can get both on the Tacoma, I'm not sure. Let's see. Dan Soderholm says Mopar Dan. He used to be Mopar Dan. Now he's Boise City Mopar Man, or I forget. Rebel Rouser says, I remember when you had that eye surgery, you had a live stream the next day. I did, with my bludgeoned eye. That was miserable. I highly do not recommend anyone ever has eye surgery. It's a horrible experience. It really is. Gear Runner said, at least for a retinal problem, and I realize you don't have a choice, but man, it's misery. Gear Runner says, thank you, Dan. I hope you're liking the job. Boise City Mopar, there we go, says, hey, Rafe. Krista says, Justin, I remember that too. Yeah, I bet. Dan Soderholm says, sound went to crap. Well, that sucks. Rebel Rouser says, it's okay for me, Dan. Or, I don't know. Gear Runner retracted. John Watt said Barcelona Red. Yeah, that is Barcelona Red up there. Thunder Whisper says, how many of the Roush Mustangs were made? I don't know. Gear will have to answer that. I'm not sure. Dan Soderholm says, it was my end. Sorry, didn't realize it. Yeah, I'm showing, I can see a readout of what the volume is like. It's been healthy the whole stream. Because I had a problem last time. The camera had to be rebooted while I was live. That was great. Let's see. Boise City Mopar says, well, Rob, I am currently enjoying my day off up until Thursday, then 3 12-hour shifts of fun and excitement and changing diapers. Yay me, LOL. Well, you got to do something to make the big bucks, Dan. I'm just saying. Mr. Munns, I think I got that right, says, everyone know a true man is defined not by the size of the truck, but by the amount of vehicles he can fit in his garage. Or if he has huge... those. Gear Runner says that car will be paid off in a couple of weeks, so it won't be eating anything. That car will be paid off in a couple of weeks, so it won't be eating anything. What? Boise City Mopar says, hey T-Dub. Rebel Rouser says, is the Raptor offered in two-wheel drive? I doubt it, but I don't know. CJ Coleman says, I'm back from dinner, Rob. Awesome, CJ. I hope you had a fantastic meal. Terrence Tatum says, love the Sport. Yeah, me too. And I actually, somebody, and I don't know if they're on here or not, but somebody sent me a comment yesterday. And they said one of my mods should be getting rid of that fake hood scoop that's on the Sport. And I thought, what? You understand that, number one, I could have bought whatever trim model I wanted on the Tacoma. I mean, you know, I got this because I wanted this. Why would I buy a Sport that has a hood scoop on it that I didn't want? That absolutely, it's just another one of those comments that makes you think, what? Why do you think I bought it? That is one of the primary reasons why I bought the Sport, is because I like that scoop, fake or not. Let's see. All right, I've lost my spot. Let's go back here. Boise City Mopar says, Rebel Rouser, I don't believe they do. I believe the Raptor's four-wheel drive only. I would think so, but I don't really know. Boise City Mopar, CJ Colvin says, sounds awesome. BCM. Troy Hasty. Troy, how you doing, man? Troy says, Voodoo Blue, Rob. Yes. I love that color, man. I love blue anyway. So that's the only thing I would change. I would go, excuse me, I would go with a different color, a blue. Thunder Whisper says, I can't remember, Rob. Are you running 20-inch rims on the Taco? I am. Those are Fuel 20s. Um, Rafe says, look up the Mako Shark Fade paint for the 2019 Harley Road Glide CVO. Something sounds familiar about that to me. I'll have to check. Boise City Mopar says, Gear Runner sounds good, dude. Then again, you don't eat anything. You're pencil thin, LOL. He is. He's like a pencil. Gear Runner is a pencil. When he turns sideways, can't even see him. He's like my shirt, just disappears. Boise City Mopar says, hey, CJ. CJ says, this may be a stupid question, but have you seen YouTube show Patty Mayo? No, never heard of it. Boise City Mopar says, Solder Home, how goes it? CJ Coleman says, what's up, Boise City Mopar? How's it going? Rebel Rouser says, did your neighbors get tired of the guy across the street cursing at his truck? Did your neighbors get tired? I'm not sure if you're talking to me, because if you are, I don't know what you're talking about. Scott S. says, all I can see is your head. Yeah, I know. I thought I'd be like Gear tonight. You know, I went shirtless, but apparently I just fade right into the floor. So Gear Runner says, not eating anything means it won't be costing me anything. Oh! Sorry. That just right over my head, man. That was on me, not you. I get it. I'd still sell it, make the profit, and go buy something else. You know you're not going to keep this car 30 years, man. There's just no way. And I only say that because I know how I am. Not that you're me, but cars are cars, you know. Boise City Mopar says, yes, CJ, I've seen Patty Mayo. Not bad show. A little too much drama for my liking, but to each their own. Ray Severance says the Raptor is only four-wheel drive because it is made for a specific purpose, and that is to go off-road. And how many of those guys do you think actually drive it off-road? I've never seen one off-road. Terrence Tatum says, love the scoop. Thank you. Me too. Robert Rogers says, I'll be making money as it sits. It'll be making money as it sits, Gear. Well, hope so. CJ Colvin says, that's true, Boise City Mopar. Gear Runner says, truth, Justin, truth. Boise City Mopar says, CJ Colvin, well, beside the fact I was running around like a head with my chicken cut off last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because I was working like crazy, and I felt half dead afterwards. Not too bad. John Watt says, gotta go, Rob. Scotty Kilmer is on. LOL. Really, John? Really? I am hurt, man. I am hurt. Tell Scotty Kilmer that he should check out RobMotive. Tell him you should check him out. See what kind of response you get from him. Thanks for being on, John. Krista says that scoop stays. Absolutely. CJ Colvin says, sounds awesome, Boise City Mopar. How's the job going, brother? Boise City Mopar says, CJ, but then again, nobody ever said the work of a CNA is going to be easy, not to mention I'm going to school as well. BCM is getting educated. Rebel Rider says, LOL, John, I guess we'll let you if you got to do that. Sean says, boss says scoop stays. That's right. I did. Thunder Whisper says, yeah, me too. I love the look of 20-inch rims. Oh, yeah, they look awesome on this truck. BCM says, crap, I forgot to go on live chat. Oh, well, I'll change to that. LOL. I've been around Rob too long, starting to pick up his habits. LOL. It's not my fault. I'm on live chat. CJ Colvin says, rev up the taco, John Watt. Rev it up, baby. Robert Ross says, you were the guy cursing at his truck. LOL. Oh, I see. Never mind. Again, tonight must be the food I've not had. Thunder Whisper says, it's costing you insurance though, Gear. Hope you keep insurance on that. That's true. That's true. Gear Runner says, oh, I am. And I do drive it occasionally. There will be another channel. There will be, starting another channel? Oh, you mean another car on the channel? I got you. Car soon. Gotcha. Thunder Whisper says, John, low blow. Yeah, John. Thanks, man. I thought we were like this. Boise City Mopar says, I second that. Robson needs to get rid of the horrible looking hood scoop on the El Camino. I mean, the Tacoma, LOL. We just talked about responses like that, Dan. I think you might need to go back and watch my interpretation of that kind of comment. I'm just saying. John Watt says, kidding. Thank you. I hope that means you're still here. Gear Runner says, tell him to check out Gear Runner. I'm sure he's heard of me. His fans do not like me. He has fans? I don't know. CJ Cope, maybe his mom and dad. CJ Coben says Scotty Kilmer is John Lennon in a mechanic uniform. It could be. Or maybe his wife, Yoko. Rebel Rouser says Gear is buying an Eagle Talon. Ew. Thunder Whisper says you're going to have 2 channels, Gear. When will the wife have any time? Bow Chicka Gear. Gear says my sister had a Plymouth Laser Turbo, Justin. Same thing. Rebel Rouser says, wow. Sean DeLong says, love those old Eagle Talons, all-wheel drive turbos. Wow, I'd have to go back and look at one of those. I can't even picture what they were now. Probably just a square car, I imagine, but I'm not sure. 5 Gears says, hey man, what average fuel economy are you getting? Because I drive 26 miles, country road. It drinks 1/4 of the gas tank, and it's a V6 like yours, 2018. You know, depends on how you're driving. I find, when you're not on the freeway, these trucks, they don't do well, none of them. And neither does mine. I'm getting right now average, and I'm not driving any freeway. I'm driving primarily no more than 55 mile an hour, probably average speed of 35. Stop and go trips in town, and I'm getting about 14.8, which I know really sucks. But it's the style of driving I do now. Rubber Roush says, did you like your Hyundai Genesis Coupe? Genesis, Rob, I did. I should have kept that car. That car was awesome. Love the look, love the power, loved everything about it. I should have kept it. They don't even make that version anymore, I don't believe. It was a cool car, man. Troy Hasty says, do you think you will finish the carbon fiber in the Tacoma interior to go with the other mods you have done already? If I can find carbon fiber, that fits. I mean, there's not a ton of options out there that I've seen anyway to replace the chrome bits. That's what I'm looking to do primarily. So, but yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I do like carbon fiber. Terrence Tatum says, so I missed the mod you were working on all day. What was it? It's a front-facing cam. And man, I had a few issues. CJ Colvin says Scotty Kilmer also loves to say, unless it's a little Toyota car or an expensive F-150 pickup, all vehicles are garbage. I told you about my experience with him. I don't put him on a very high pedestal. And if you didn't hear me before, hear what happened, I had a question, a valid question, and his response was very demeaning, I thought. And I'm like, okay, brother, it's just like I was bothering him, That was enough. I moved on. Mr. Munn says, my wife just asked me if I was FaceTiming a strange man. I said, you watch your mouth. This is Rob. And Rob helped me mod my Tundra. She said she's cutting off the internet and I'm now being punished. Well, she might not have been wrong on all fronts. I mean, I could be a strange man. But as for the mods, I mean, come on, man. That's awesome. And think of the money you save doing it yourself. She should be happy. I'll wait for a Christmas card. Mr. Munn says, I tried. Sean DeLong says, tacos get maybe 1 mile per gallon better than a full-size Tundra. Mine does. Gear Runner, he's a triple laugh. And Robo Rouse says, Genesis Coupes are cheap now. Oh, I bet they are. I think I paid like $36,000 for mine. It was a Genesis Coupe Sport Track. What was it? A 3.8 liter, something like that. 6-speed manual. It was awesome. Gear Runner says, I liked my Genesis Coupe. Yeah, Gear and I had like the same exact car. It's pretty wild. Thunder Whisper says, Sean, how's your new ride doing, man? Ray Severance says, I like the Army Green Taco. I do too. It looks pretty cool, man. Mr. Moons, he's a kind of sideways, or Mr. Munns, sorry. He's kind of sideways laughing. Rubber Raj says, why didn't you keep it, Gear? Terrence Tatum says, oh, awesome. Plan on doing a front cam too. Yeah, I'll have a video up in a few days if I ever, finish the one I'm doing. 5 Gears says, if you had the money to buy a supercar, which would you buy? I'd probably buy a McLaren, actually. I do like the McLarens. They're a little tight, though. Gear Runner says, I traded it for my first F-150, Justin. See what happened? CJ Colvin says, how's the wife doing, Rob? Well, she was on here, man. She feels a little ill today, honestly. Sean DeLong says, loving it, Thunder Whisper. Glad I pulled the trigger. Awesome. Rebel Rouser says, just like that. Thunder Whisper says, Sean DeLong, that's a sweet ride you have there. Sweet. Sean DeLong says, thanks, T-Dub. Gear Runner says, Nissan GTR or Porsche Turbo. Really the only reliable supercars made. Probably true. Probably true. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to get on here, talk a little bit about my horrible, very disappointing, long mod day. And let's see, BCM says, hey guys, I'm back. I was talking to my boss about something that happened that we need to get resolved. Involves work and school and all the stuff that I need to take care of for both. But we're good. That's good, man. Gear Runner says, have a great weekend, everyone. Scott S says, you liking the Roush gear so far? Ray Severn says, I wouldn't buy a supercar. I would buy a few Harleys and an F-150 Platinum and a Taco. There you go. Rubber Roger says, I asked Scotty how long you can drive with bad timing belt tensioner. He said, heck, I've seen them go years that way. Never mind. When it breaks, the engine is toast. LOL. That's true. Gear Runner says, love the Roush Scott. Thunder Whisper says, now that I have my lift done, going to put it for a fan feature on the TD34. Awesome. Boys City Mopar says, just Joe, I subbed your channel, dude. That's cool. Edgar Marino says, hey Rob, what's up, buddy? Edgar, how you doing, man? Just about to end here, actually. BCM says 5 gears. I also subbed your channel. Thunder Whisper says, gear, how many did Ford make? Sean DeLong says, please read the instructions again, Rob. Don't mess up your wiring. I hope I don't. I think I'm set. I read it many times, let me tell you. Scott says, thought you would, Andy. John Watt says, have a good night, buddy. You too, John. Thanks for being on. That's it. We're caught up. I appreciate all you guys being on here. So we shall see you hopefully Wednesday night, and the front-facing cam will be done. I don't know. If not, you all have a good week, and we'll see you next time on the web. Bye.